Uh, Good morning, dear participants. Welcome back to the session 2 of day 5. Now, I may request Dr. Ajita to welcome and introduce the lead speaker of today, Dr. Sharana Gowda.
We would like to introduce the speaker of the session, Dr. Sharana Gowda. He is presently working as Assistant Controller of Patents and Designs and Head of Biotechnology Group, Patent Office, Chennai. His qualifications are he has completed his PhD in Biochemistry from Gulbarga University, LLB from Mumbai University, Diploma in Fostering Innovation and Commercialization of IPR from CBS, Denmark. His other qualifications include he has also cleared NET, GATE, and Karnataka SLED. He is specialized in examining, scrutinizing the patent applications based on traditional knowledge-based inventions. He is a coordinator for the Patent Office India and National Biodiversity Authority India. He is a member of Expert Committee on ABS of Biological Diversity Act 2002. He has a total of around 18 years experience in Patent Office and 3 years of experience in teaching MSc Biochemistry and Biotechnology course. He has 8 years of experience as an expert committee member on ABS. To his credit, he has around 7 publications in both international and national status. He also has an Young Scientist Award from NESA New Delhi. He has delivered more than 200 lectures at various universities, institutes, companies and colleges on patent system of India and its role in development, and also on IPR along with biodiversity issues. With a short introduction on behalf of the college management, principal, HOD, staffs and students of the biotechnology department, we welcome you to the session, sir. It's over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ajita, for introducing me. So, first of all, I thank Professor Manjunath sir for inviting me, and this is a faculty development program. So I hope many students and faculties have joined the program. So the topic which I am going to cover in my talk today is the patents for biotechnology innovations, particularly in India. So what can be a form of IPR you can obtain in India. So what are the requirements and what is the importance, how you can get benefited with the patents, with the innovations in life sciences as a whole. So I mainly concentrate on the life science innovations, and along with that, so some of the general introduction on IPR. So I'll share my slides so that I can. So I hope you're getting my slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, so before going to innovations in biotechnology or life sciences, I'll just briefly give introduction about the patents. So patent is a form of IPR, intellectual property right. So we abbreviate as IPR. So the word IPR you can differentiate from the another properties. So this is also a property, but it has a difference. So as a property, you can divide the properties which you can touch and experience and see by naked eye. They are tangible properties. In the tangible properties, you can have the movable and immovable property. These properties we all know. So the property which I am going to talk in today's topic is the intangible property, which you cannot see by your naked eyes or you cannot touch and experience. Only on paper you can show that with a certificate, this is my IPR. So all the IPRs, the form of the IPRs, which are intangible in nature, and in that intangible there may be a several. In that, the important one for us is the intellectual property. So these intellectual properties, broadly you can classify them into two, which mainly industries uses. They are industrial properties, and the other, there are several rights which can be bunched to form a copyrights. That will be the copying, wherever that copyings are coming. So they are also intellectual properties which are created by the original authors or creators. So that copying is restricted. Those rights are copyrights and related rights. There are several rights in that. So the industrial property, which mainly you require for industry, which can get a monopoly with those, the main prominent industrial properties in India are the patents, designs, trademarks, and GIs. There are several forms, but I'm restricting to these four. So first, what is the IPR? Intellectual property right. There is a three words: intellectual property and a right. So intellectual property, it's a central theme is the property, and which is left side is intellectual and the right side is the rights, which you can see as IPR. So what is it means? A creative ideas and expressions of the human mind. We generally call human mind as intellect, and though that is the intellect which has expressed any idea which is formed in his mind, and that idea is expressed here. It is the created something, whatever it is. So, and that has a commercial value. So here you have the commercial value for the created or expressed thing with his own idea by the mind. So that is called as a intellectual property. And when you get a right from any sovereign country, in any country, if it is the government is giving that right, and that right is called as IPR. So that is the legal term which is given for that intellectual property right. So this intellectual property right, it has several similarities with the property which is tangible property. But there is a one difference, which is all the intellectual property rights are negative rights. So they are, when you want to protect and enforce them, then only you will get a right. If you are not, you don't want to enforce, if you are not registering and getting a right, it is not having any monopoly right on that. So this is what a intellectual property right, which has a difference with the tangible properties. Otherwise, other characteristics which you see with that tangible and intellectual property right, so they are almost all similar, as it is an exclusive right, it is having a territorial right, and it is having a licensable right. All these are with the tangible property also you can have it. But the main difference is these are only when you want to go for the monopoly, then only you have a right over that. Otherwise, if you are not want to enforce, then anyone can freely use it. So that is what the major difference with the right. So now in that intellectual property, one of the main important is the patent. So patent, what is patent? It's an exclusive privilege given to the applicant. Whoever applies, he will become an applicant, by whom it is the any countries that which is governing the rights there, and that is the generally a government. So here in India, Government of India, for a limited period. So limited period, it's a every country has its own the period. Generally now throughout world it is uniformly, it is 20 years period from the date of filing. If anyone files today on 24th December 2021, so his expiry date is fixed on that. Whenever it is granted, you want to enforce it or not, or refuse, whatever it is, but its expiry date is fixed on the day of filing a patent. So that is 20 years from 24th December 2041 is the expiry date. So that is the limited period. And to exclude, what for this is given, this patent right is given to exclude or prevent others from making, using or selling the invention without the permission or license. See, what is the objective of this is that a person or the applicant, whoever, either it can be an inventor himself files or he can assign it to anyone. So he will become an applicant, and later on when it is granted, he will become a patentee. So that he can restrict the competitors from making, using or selling the invention. That is, it may be a product or it may be a process without the license. So it means that if anyone gets a patent, say in 1.3 billion population in India, one person has got, so against that, anyone who is knowing from the website what is that, but they cannot use it. So that is the restricted. What can be restricted? Making, using or selling the invention, whatever it is granted for that. So without a license. So it means that they have to take a, if they want to use, making, using, selling, so they have to take a license. So this is for the advantage of the applicant, whoever files a patent for the patent. But what in return they have to give is complete disclosure of the invention. So the complete disclosure must be there. Without that, no patent can be granted. It is the worldwide phenomenon. So it's not only in India, everywhere there is some formats and rules govern for the patent disclosures, and without that complete disclosure, no patent can be granted. So this is the most important thing as far as we come with the inventions which we see the academicians or the research universities and in these academic researchers, they file is the mainly they lack in the disclosure of the invention. They will not disclose completely. That is the one of the lacuna of our Indian patent drafters, which in my experience I have seen that this is the biggest problem when we are going for the grant of a patent. So they will not disclose what actually the invention is. So this may be due to some problems with that or the lacunas. So though so many issues, but so they have to disclose complete to get a patent. So not only in India, everywhere throughout the world, this is the same. So now, what is the role of this patent which will play for the benefit of the society or the scientific community? So first and foremost, it streamlines the science and technology database. So the person, whoever invented, whether a product or process, he will apply for the patent. So patent office world over, they will publish in their websites through the patent. It is a searchable database. So that database for everyone, for practical purposes, it will be the science and technology database. So this database will be helpful as a streamlines the inventions based on the IPC classification, based on the subject. So many things you can organize them. So that will become scientific database for the purpose of the public who want to see that database, or the researchers, for future researchers, so they can use this information for further researching. So encourages for improvement of technology. So today, so you have so much competition for the development of the science or that products for the market. So in that you will find this is the monopoly right which gives for 20 years from the data filing. You have a benefit. No one can copy at marketplace and compete with you. So that encourages the existing products can be improved. Existing technologies can be improved to get the monopoly and for enjoy get the benefits, exclusive rights for 20 years. And that exclusive right is a reward for the inventor or creator, or so whenever they apply, so then only they will get it. So it's not that if I invented, I am not applying for patent, I will be benefited. No. So inventor, whoever is created, he has to apply and obtain that right for a product or process, then only he can benefited through the exclusive rights for his invention and making profits. So many academicians, they can also, if they are not commercializing, so they can sell the technology. That is, technology transfer can happen, and from that they can make the rewards. So they get the advantage. And the last but not the least, after 20 years, what happens to this is it becomes a public property. Anyone can use freely without any restriction. So that is what it will become into a public property. So these are the some of the advantages of the patent system. So why I'm stressing on these advantages, because if anyone gets a invention, and but if he is not getting registered or the granted patent with the any wherever they want to commercialize that, so they will be in a disadvantageous position, because anyone can, the moment you release the product into the market, anyone can copy and can be a competitor for your products. So that is why it gives a reward in way of exclusive rights for 20 years. So that is the major advantage. So this, whether it is your academic researcher or industrial researcher, you need to take the benefit of the system by this proper disclosure to the patent office and advantage at the marketplace. Some, I'll just share some of the inventions which I have found in the Google. So there is huge inventors benefited. This is the one invention which is a very small one, a ring pull can. 1 second. Sir, so ring pull can. The inventor licensed the patent to Coca-Cola at 1/10 of a penny per can. So it is a small invention. You see that, but the Coca-Cola company wanted to acquire this by way of assignment, but the inventor did never give that to the Coca-Cola, but instead he has licensed it for a 1/10 of profit, whatever the Coca-Cola gets. So by that way, the inventor got for this one invention 1.2 crores per day for 20 is potential. If that inventor, if did not do the registration, all these things, anyone would have been copied and inventor would not have been benefited. And the small minute invention scale also, if you have, there is an advantage which is in the form of the technical advancement, and which is over the existing things, improvement over the existing things, you can get a patent. Like there are approximately 400 paperclip patents in India. If we say there is a paperclip patent, some people may laugh at you, what this is invention. So it's not that patent can be obtained for smallest improvements, but you have to show the advantage, that is the technical advancement. we see in the inventive step. So that gives you the patent. So it is, see that these all patents were valued around rupees 535 crore. So minute things also you can get a patent. So the 4 inventors sold this spin brush technology to the Procter & Gamble. So that is approximately 3,000 crores they got by way of selling this invention to the Procter & Gamble company. So what I mean to show this, there are smallest inventions that have profited inventors. So there are so many inventions like this. So the inventors have got advantage. If they are not protecting their rights by way of a proper filing and registering different countries, so they may lose that. So that is what I just wanted to stress on that. Now I will, so with this background, I just move on to the filing of patent application in India. So practically how you can do filing of patent application in India. So first, what are the requirements? Patentability criteria. What is patentability criteria in India? So in India, we are administering the Patents Act through the Patents Act 1970, which is since 1972, it is in force. So that act defines the invention only. So inventions only you can get a patent. What invention means? A new product or process involving an inventive step and capable of industrial application. So in this, there are 3 criteria are defined. New product or process, that is novel product or process, and inventive step and capable of industrial application. These are the 3 criteria. This is world over phenomenon. So not only in India, you will find that is novel, that must be new, inventive, and industrial applicable. So the what is new or novelty? Means not published before the date of patent application. If anyone files the patent application today in India on 24th December, till 23, we search for the novelty search. Whether is there in any of the prior art, it may be anything, any public domain knowledge or the publications in journals or magazines, anywhere, if it is you are having published either you or by anyone else throughout the world. So we search in the internet. There are several databases. So through those databases, our examiners will carry out the search. If that is not there till 23rd December 2021, if there is no publication of this product or process, then novelty of your product or process is established. That's what we see one day before the date of filing of patent application. That's why it is very, very important. You need to maintain the confidentiality till you file a patent application in patent office. Anywhere you can file. So it's not that you want to file anywhere, either through PCT. There are so many routes you can file it, but at least one of the patent office you have to approach to file a patent application. Then it is established you are getting a priority of that application. So if you are disclosing before coming to the patent office, then that publication itself becomes a citation for your invention. So keep in mind that. So before coming to patent office, you need not disclose the invention. So that is, otherwise you will lose the novelty or newness. So this is the simple one. We search through the several databases, including Google. So we establish the novelty of your claim, that is product or process. So inventive step. It's a inventive step means a feature of an invention that involves a technical advancement as compared to the existing knowledge. So there is already some of the state of the art or prior art for your invention, product or process. So there should be a something advancement over that. It's not that equal to that. At least it should be some giving some advantage over the existing product or process. So then only you can establish a inventive step. And that advancement, whatever you are speaking on the state of the art or prior art, so it should not be obvious to the person skilled in the art. It's not so trivial or easy to make whatever you are claiming the change from the prior art. So then it can establish the inventive step. So it is the criteria, one second criteria for the invention as per the section 2(1)(j) of the Patents Act. So this is the most important one, because in my experience of 18 years, we have whatever we have given with the examination report, we generally question under the inventive step. Any application, we generally 99% we always raise this objection in the examination reports, because we are not clear with the what is the technical advancement and how it is giving a benefit over the existing product or processes. So this is what we generally do with our examination system. So you have to explain to the examiner, and then you will overcome with that in objection. The third one, and it's not a difficult task, it just says that capable of industrial application. in relation to an invention means that the invention is of capable of being made or used in any type of industry. This is very broad. In India we have, so it should be useful in particularly any type of industry. It should not be that theoretical idea or theoretical we cannot give, but you should establish that it is useful in so and so for purpose. So if that is there, then we generally give a industrial applicability, or it should have been made in a large scale. If the process is there, it's not a problem. If the product, so you need to establish that it is in industrial scale, it is producible. So that establishes the industrial application. So there are three criteria, that is novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. If this is the three, you have a product or process invention and you checked through the Google or any other free sites, from that you can establish that whether it is novel or not, whether inventive or not, industrial applicable or not. So that this is the things you have to make before coming to patent office. So, but not only these three criteria, if you want to get a patent outside India, these are the three important. But along with these three, there is other criteria, exclusion criteria in India, that is non-patentability. There are several inventions, though they are novel, inventive, and industrially applicable, so they can be rejected because of the exclusion in India. So we have section 3A to P and section 4 non-patentability. So, and the important thing is in biotechnology innovations, you are having a more of these section 3, because it involves a life forms, whether it is a microbials or whether it's a plants or animals. You have several restrictions in biotechnology area. So I will just quickly go through what are the non-patentable things you can find in biotechnology. First and foremost, the 3B, section 3B says that against public order and morality. If it is the invention which you are making, which is against the law of the land, or it is immoral. So particularly in biotechnology, So there is a morality is involved. Ethical and moral issues will be involved. So if it is immoral to maybe may not be a legally, it can be a feasible, but morally it is not feasible for such inventions. We may raise the objections under section 3B. Of course, the morality is a very, very loose clause, which it will not be a absolute bar for a patenting, but if you show the advantage to the society, even though it is immoral, it can be a grantable invention because it has a several advantages. So that is what section 3B says. The another one, it is the section 3C, which says that any discovery is not patentable. Discovery of whether it is a living or non-living. So whether you are today, if I isolate a microorganism from the soil, a new type of novel, inventive and industrial applicable microorganism, but you will not get a patent for the product per se, because this is a naturally existing microorganism. That is a discovery of the microorganism. It's not an invention as per the section 21J, because all discoveries are not patentable in India. So the discovery of living things like microorganisms or any biological materials or non-living things. For example, if I isolate any chemical compound which is new, which is not reported in any of the prior art, or it is not there in any of the references of the whether it is a patent or non-patent literature, so then also you will not get, because it is a isolated chemical compound. So that is like natural compounds, so you cannot get a patent for that. So there is, even if you are asking for a new use of any existing compound or a new form of the known substance which is not having a efficacy, then you will not be given a patent for those molecules. And section 3 says admixture of things. If A and B I mix and I will say that it is novel and it is inventive and industrial applicable, though it is novel, inventive and industrial applicable, but you may not get a patent because it is section 3, you need to establish synergistic effect. If there is no synergistic effect, the patent will not be granted. And coming to the 3H, to protect the farmers, because farmers, they grow, they do agriculture and grow the crops and they sell the crops. All these are using selling, it will come within that ambit. So that to protect the farmers, so the patent law bars that no method of agriculture will be a patentable, whether it is novel, inventive, industrial applicable, but you cannot get a the method of agriculture or horticulture. This is most relevant because I was going through the FDP program. So this is also related to agri-tech. But in agri-tech, you cannot get a patent for the what conventional farmers are doing. But here you can get a patent for the devices, agricultural devices. If it is new, inventive and industrial applicable, so then any device which you are inventing, it can be a patentable one. Otherwise, no method of doing agriculture, farming or horticulture. So you cannot get a patent for this. The same thing to protect the doctors who are practicing in hospitals. So there is a bar on under 3I. It says that method of treatment of animal or human is not patentable. If method of treatment of plants is patentable only if it is not a agriculture or horticulture method. So it's method of treatment of animal. So if anyone makes an invention for a bypass surgery can be made within few minutes, It's a very good method, but you cannot get a patent in India. But don't be disappointed. You can protect all these things, method of agriculture, method of uh, treating a persons or animals in US. US, there is no exclusion of these things in US, but in India we have a restrictions on these technologies to safeguard the some of the our prominent industries like agriculture industry or the medical industry. We are not granting these methods. So the other sections which affect the biotechnology innovations is the plants or animals or their parts. If anyone comes up with a genetically modified plant or their part, either it's a root, stem, leaf, whatever it is, so you cannot get a patent for that. Or their parts, including the cells, the recombinant cells also you cannot get unless it is the microorganism. So microorganisms are out of the purview. You can get a patent on GMO or LMO, that is genetically modified microorganism or living modified microorganism. You can get a patent for those, but you cannot get a patent for the plant or animals or their parts. Like if I make a kidney, so a animal part, so I cannot get a patent on that, even if it is a genetically engineered. So that is the bar for patenting of these innovations in India, though it is novel, inventive, and industrially applicable. And the last one under section 3 is the traditional knowledge. If your invention is directly a traditional knowledge which is existed or long ago in India or outside India, or whatever you are claiming the innovation which is an effect of the simply a documented traditional knowledge, so then you will not be eligible for getting a patent, because traditional knowledge is already, maybe we may not have everyone known, but in the literature or in the texts it is the coded in the coded form in different languages, it is existing. So what CSIR has done in the form of a traditional knowledge digital library. So there, if anyone search, he can get that traditional knowledge. If you are getting there and it is in effect that traditional knowledge you are claiming, then it is not a patentable subject matter in India. So these are the exclusions exclusively for biotechnology innovations. 3B, C, D, E, and then you have H, J, and P, I, J, P. So these are the some sections which are bars the patenting in biotechnology innovations in India. But these are all not there in, if you want to patent in US. The only thing is that you need to take the permission from Indian office. If you are a resident of India and have done innovation in India, but you found that it is not patentable in India, you can get a patent for all these things in US. So only thing is that you have to take a permission from controller in India by filing form number 25. So with that you can file in US. So now this is what the criteria I just wanted to explain you. So it is novel, inventive, and industrial applicable. These three are there, and you have to go through section 3. The for biotechnology innovations, the important one I explained. So if you have gone through and you have found that it is not falling under any of these section 3A to P, then you can approach the patent office for filing a patent application. So what are the documents required for filing a patent application? So the documentation part, I'll just explain about that. So the minimum documentation, there are 30 forms in the patent rules. The Patent Act 1970 and the Patent Rules 2003 has 30 forms. So in that, these are the 4 important forms mandatorily. If you want a grant of a patent, you need to file at least these 4 forms. Form number 1, form number 2, that can be filed in the provisional or a complete details of that. Form number 3, that is just one page statement which says that what are the different countries I filed my application, same invention in different jurisdiction I have filed, like that information. If it is a nil, you have to give the nil statement. Form number 18, that is request for examination, and since 2016 we have introduced the new, that is expedited examination, that is 18A. Form number 18A, expedited examination. So those, to speed up the process of examination, we have 18A. So the most important in these forms is the form number 2. Form number 1, which is just a application form. You have to write who is the applicant, what is nationality and address, then who are the inventors, if it is 1 or 10. Applicants can be a n number, 1 or n number. Inventors also can be a 1 or n number. So you have to give the details of correspondence address, all these things in the application form 1. And the most crucial form is for us is the patent form number 2, that is the patent specification, that can be filed in provisional or complete. So this provisional or complete, so provisional specification means it's a theoretical idea in your mind, you have not worked out with that. So you just want to protect the priority for your invention. You can just drop application by writing the nature of the invention and the essential features of the invention. Maybe you can write what are the objectives of your invention and the description of essential, some your theoretical idea, you can describe that in 1 or 2 pages, and no need to include claims, because the claims are to be a monopoly claims. You can, after completion of your research work, you can write. That should be done within 1 year from the date of filing of provisional specification. That means today on 24th December 2021, if you file a provisional specification, you have 1 year time, that is 12 months time till the 24th December 2022. So that is what you will get a time. So that time you can use for researching or drafting a well drafted specification with complete disclosure and proper claims. So because the manner of the making of a product or process is also not required in the provisional, just it's an objectives. If you have a prior art site to be cited background, and then with a information of the essential features, what for it, what is you want to work, what is the objective out of this, whether it's a product invention, process invention, that you can write in the complete specification. But you need to describe some elements essentially for that invention. So advantages of this provisional: if I go for the provisional, priority is in advance, no risk of losing priority, and liberty to develop. So I already told that patent should be kept secret till filing, but after filing a provisional, you can disclose it to anyone, you can discuss with anyone, friends or any interested persons, to obtain a financial support like DBT or DST. Wherever you want a financial support, you can disclose that idea and get a financial support, and then you can complete your research work and file a complete specification. Virtually it extends the term. It's not extension, actually it is virtually, because today you don't have any invention, still you are getting a priority, but 20 years will be calculated from that date. Utilize for exploring commercial feasibility. Sometimes what happens, whether commercially this product will be viable or not, you want to test it, you can test the market feasibility, then you can file and get a patent. If it is not feasible, then avoid the further expenses, because it may be a legal expenses or it may be a so many commercial losses you may incur if you file that, and even it is not kept secret, because the provisional will be a secret. If you are dropping at the provisional stage, then it will never get published. But if you file a complete, we will go for the publication. What are the things we expect from the applicants to draft in a complete specification? So title, within 15 words, you need to coin your title of the invention, which should indicate the subject matter of the invention. Then there should be a field of the invention, what field it wants, particularly what is their field of the invention. And if you have searched through the Google or some other sites, you have a prior art, you just have to describe with that prior art and distinguish and write the advantages over that prior art, what your invention is giving. If you have an X invention, so against that there may be so many citations or prior arts, so you need to distinguish and write advantages over that. And then objectives of your invention, statement or summary of the invention. The most crucial part, which I was saying while describing the definition, detailed description of the invention with the drawings or the examples, if any. This is the most important thing. Whether you write a background, advantage, anything, you can still have a chance. But if you are not writing detailed description with working examples, especially in biotechnology, you are having a less chances of getting a patent, because we strictly see that whether you have best mode of carrying out the invention is described or not. If it is not described, then you will not get a patent. So that is what you need to clearly describe that. And the most crucial is claims. So you can draft one claim or 100 claims. It is up to you, but at least one claim should be there in the complete specification. And the abstract, one page, that is 150 words. Below 150 words, you can draft a abstract and file it. So what the act says is that fully and particularly describe the invention and disclose the best mode of the carrying out the invention, which applicant knows or the inventor knows. So if there is a biological material, so if the microorganism, then you need to deposit that. If you are using a microorganism which is not publicly available, no one can get that microorganism because I have that strain or microorganism with me, then you need to deposit in International Depository Authority under the Budapest Treaty. There is a treaty, international treaty, and that recognizes some of the depository authorities, and you need to deposit in that. If it is not done, so you may not get a patent for that, whatever you have isolated and done the invention with that. So it's a public availability is the most important for the biological materials, because if I own microorganism, it's by default, it is, if I am not giving or depositing in the culture collection centers, it is my monopoly. So to avoid that, a patent act has a clause that if it is not available to the public, you need to deposit in the culture collection center before filing a patent application. This is most important. That accession number of the depository authority can be given later on also in the patent specification, but you have to deposit that, because on the day of filing of patent application, it needs to be available to the public through the depository culture collection center. And if the biological material is used from India, you need to disclose the source from where you have taken, and you need to give the permission from the National Biodiversity Authority. So the act says that end with one or more claims. You can draft number of claims based on your invention, but one is a mandatory, and you can draft 10. Up to 10, there is no additional fee, if you are drafting more than 10, 11th claim onwards, you will be charged per claim fee. That is additionally, because we are taking that. So now coming to the fees part. So there are, we have the fees, natural persons and the small entity. Now we are having clubbed with that natural person and almost the startup or that. So we have clubbed with that. 1600 is the application form 1 fee, and request for examination, it is 4000. If you are filing 18A, if you are an eligible person, I'll show the eligibility for the 18A, and then it will be 8000. For expedited examination, it will double 4000 to 8000. So for the other than small entity or other than the natural persons, they have to file 8000 is the application fee, and for normal examination request, it is 20,000. And if it is filed expedited, the other than small entity has to file the 60,000 fee, 3 times of the normal examination. So all these fees, 1600, 4000, 8000 plus 20,000 is for the online filing, e-filing, because there are different modes of filing. So you have, so the invention, whichever it is, you can file physically, that is by coming to patent office, or by sending through the post, only post, no courier. It is by post, you can send with a demand draft. No checks are acceptable, only demand drafts are acceptable. Whatever the fees you want to file and to be payable to the controller of the jurisdiction patent office. If you are from Bangalore, you have to, or if you are from Tamil Nadu, so then you have to file at Chennai patent office. So there you need to make a pay to the controller patent office Chennai. So there you need to send the application with a demand draft that is payable to the controller of patents. So there you need to calculate 10% more for these fees. Then you will get a application number. If it is this online fee, that is e-filing or the e-signing, there is a newly we have introduced 3 months back, that is e-signature. For e-filing, you need a mandatorily digital signature. For e-signing, you need to register, and then you can sign all the documents with your either Aadhaar verification, all these things. You can do that. That is e-signing. There is a 2 electronic filing modes: e-filing through digital signature, e-filing by e-signing. So these are the 2. For that, this fee is applicable. If you are by post or by coming to the patent office, if you are filing, 10% to these fees you have to additionally file. So the speed up the process of examination, you want to go for that expedited examination. There is an option for all the startup companies. They have to get a certificate from DPIIT that they are startup. So that with that certificate, they can file expedited examination. Or they have filed a PCT application and India is elected as a international search authority, then ISA India, then you are eligible. Then all the natural persons are the applicant, and in that woman is one of the applicant is woman, natural persons. In that one of the applicant is woman, then they are eligible to file expedited. And all government departments or institutes all eligible for the expedited, whether it is a state government or central government, all are eligible for the expedited examination. What is the requirement is that Form 9 is the mandatory. If you want to speed up the examination, it needs to be published early. So that's why Form 9 is required. And Form 18A, that is, I already told, double the fees in case of natural person or small entity. In case of large entity or the other than small, that other than natural person, they are filing 60,000 fee 3 times. So what is the advantage of the expedited is that we will publish within 1 week generally, and within 1 month of filing a form 18A, we issue the examination report. If no objections after 6 months of publication, it will be granted, and maybe in some times we have granted expedited examination applications almost 88 months. Otherwise, normally it will take 3 years. So it will be speed up to the 8 months. Now coming to the, so you have made all the documents, and who can file? So any person who is the inventor by default is eligible to file, because one or many person, so they are combined to do that invention, product or process, they're all eligible to file as a true and first inventors, because they are the inventors for that. And by any person who is assignee of the person claiming. So true and first inventors are not coming to patent office, they can assign it to anyone with their signature, they can file, or by the legal representatives of any deceased persons. So for example, if anyone who is doing since 5 years doing the research, but before coming to patent office he has expired, so deceased, so then anyone, the legal heir can file the patent, but inventor can be a deceased one, but rights will go to the legal heirs. That is what the act provides under section 6 of the Patents Act. So either inventors, that is primary rights are exist with the inventors, they can directly file, or they can assign it to the companies or colleges, universities, institutes. They will become, institutes will become assignees, and all the legal representative of a deceased persons. So these are the 3 persons act allows, either alone or jointly they can file. So section rule 4 of the Patents Act, patent rules 4, will define the territorial jurisdiction of the patent offices. Unlike in other countries like US or other countries, we have 4 patent offices which working at 4 geographical locations, that is Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi and Kolkata. So there is a state-wise, there is a demarcation. So which states will cover under that? If it is a Chennai southern part, that is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. All these comes under this. So northern part in Delhi and the Mumbai western part and the Kolkata rest of India will be covered. So I just brief you on the patent application processing. So if you are drafted a patent application form number 2 and you have to fill the form number 1 and form number 3, form number 18, either 18A or 18. If it is 18A, then you need to file a form number 9 also. That will all become mandatory. So you are filing with a fee, either 1600, 4000, or it is 8000, 20,000. Whichever is applicable fee as per your applicant type, you will be filing the application fee. So that will complete first step, that is filing of patent application. So now how it moves in the patent office is the patent office first and foremost duty is the publication of that invention. So opening that invention to the public domain through the website publication. If there is a form 9, it will be published early. If it is not, then after 18 months completion, that is 1.5 years, we'll keep that application. So that is from the provisional date or from the priority date, we will see. So after publication, if anyone wants to have objections on the grant of that patent, so they can file a pre-grant opposition. And there is a, in the section 25(1), there is a objections which are defined. It's not that you can give any objection. According to that section 25(1), within that objections you can give it. And after publication, it will be referred to the examiner and he will give an examination report. Based on that, controller will issue the examination report, that is first examination report. And after that, if your reply comes and if no objections, it will be granted. And if there is a still objection sustains, and the hearing will be appointed. After hearing from the applicant, either it will be refused or granted. So if it is granted, again one more time it will go for the publication, that is called as post grant publication. After that, any person interested, any interested person can give opposition, that is called as post grant opposition. So this is the simple 3-step process in the patent office we follow. So timelines, generally publication is the 18 months from the provisional or from the earliest priority. And in that normal route, it may take around 27 months for the grant of a patent, because 18 months is the mandatory period we have to wait for publication, and then 6 months is for the pre-grant opponent, if anyone. And even though there is no objections, after that we can grant. That may take around 27 months in normal route. In expedited route, it will be 8 months. It can be 8 to 9 months. You can get it patent for in the expedited route. So now what to do with this? I just went through what is intellectual property right, what is patent, and what are the rule of patent system. Then I was giving you on the how to file a patent application with the requirements, criteria, and non-patentability in biotechnology inventions. And then I explained what are the documents required, and just the fees and jurisdiction and filing ways. So if anyone of you advantages, if you are not registering and publishing, anyone can use freely your research work without any royalty to you or without asking you. But if you are going through the patent system, so you will be benefited, and that can be used for generation of more and more research. So this is the patent system benefits, and you can use it and do the organized R&D activities, and you can be benefited by global environment through using judiciously, and earn profit through the protected market. These are the, if anyone is interested, they can go to these websites and you'll get a lot of information on these. IP India, that is Patent Office website, and WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Office, and European Patent Office website, and United States Patent and Trademark Office websites. So you can go through this and you can get a lot of information right from the Google. You will get a lot of information. So I just, even after patenting, you need to transfer. If you are academician, you may not have a capability to go for the industrialization or commercialization. So then you can transfer this to the industry partners, either through the startup or anyone, any existing companies. You can assign the invention, and whether it is exclusive or non-exclusive, and transfer the know-how, and you will be benefited with this technology transfer. So because the innovations which you are created, so with a proper IP strategy by protection, whether it is patent, trademark, or design, whatever you want to take, and then you can go for the commercialization. So I just give India, recently we our DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, started this website since 1 year. So this is agni.gov.in. So here also, after grant or before grant, you can approach them, you can register and give the innovations, and they will also help in the commercialization of the innovations. So this is one of the web initiative Government of India is doing, mainly for the small scale industries or the academicians. They will be benefited by this because they guide what to be done with that. Even the NRDC is also guides. So even our department is also guiding the inventors. We have invented that. And since 1 month, we started with a program, National Intellectual Property Awareness Mission, that is NIPAM. So Office of CGPDTM is keen. In 1 year, we have a task of giving awareness to the students, academicians, researchers of our country. Around 10 lakh, we have a target in 1 year till the August 15th of 2022. So this is what we have started with that. Any of the research institutes or colleges from 9th to 12th are degree colleges or research institutes, they can approach us to get the programs. We can either through webinar or through physical programs, offline programs. So we are arranging free of cost from the Government of India, from our Office of CGPDTM. So you can approach to patent office so that you will be benefited and your students may be benefited. This is what I just wanted to tell about the initiatives in making awareness to the one and all in India. So thank you all for your patience hearing. So if any questions, we can discuss. Thank you, Ajita ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful lecture. Dear participants, the forum is open for discussion. If you have any queries, you can talk with sir.
Namaste.
Unmute. Sir, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Sir, good morning. Dr. Manjunath here.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Sir, illೊಂದು question ಇದೆ.
Okay.
Regarding my patent is published 6 months back, but still I have to get an examination.
Yeah, 6 months back published.
Examination information is yet to come. What would be the reason for that?
No, when is the form number 18 filed, sir?
Dear participant, you should give the complete detail to sir so that he will be able to answer your queries. You can talk to him or you can mail him the details so that he will be in the position to answer it.
Yes, you can mail me.
Generally, how many days it will take, sir, once it is published? After filing Form 18?
Yeah, actually, it is generally within 1 year we are now after publication and after when the Form 18 is filed, sir. So it is, even if it is Form 18 is filed, if the application is not published, you will not get the examination report. If it is filed and published, either way Form 9 or normal route, and Form 18 is filed, so generally within 1 year we are now giving, even in chemistry within 6 months they are giving a examination report. Because there
so
is no
information will directly come to the applicant, or how is that, sir?
Yes, whatever the email ID provided, they will send to onto email ID from the our no reply email ID, NICs.
And sir, after awarding the thing, you will issue a certificate, no? Patent certificate you will issue.
Yes, sir. That is also through email. You can download from our IP India website. So no communication physically we are doing right now by post,
Yeah.
but through email only we are corresponding. All the examination report, hearing notice, and the letters patent. All these through email only, sir.
Yes. So one more query is there. Sir, once my application is published, can I publish it in the journal?
Yes, even today if you are filing, so tomorrow onwards you can publish in the journals. That's not, there is no bar. But only thing is that what we check is that before filing a patent application, whether is there any publication in journals. So today, if you have filed, so you are protected with a priority. Tomorrow onwards, you can publish in any journals, no issues.
The date of publication, before that, if you have published, it is not eligible. After that, they can publish.
No, date of filing, sir.
That's what.
Patent application today, if you file 24th December 2021, so from 25th onwards, you can publish in any journals. There is no issue.
Sir, on behalf of the principal, HOD, management, staff and students as well as the participants of this STTP, we thank you so much for this very detailed and thought-provoking lecture, sir. So hope all the participants might have got an idea related to these patents and how to file all these regulations, everything. Thank you so much, sir, once again on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
If any faculty wanted to have awareness programs in their colleges, they can contact.
Yes, sir.
So that we can arrange.
I will contact you so that we can have one session in our institute.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.